Jonathan. Welcome to Curry Meets Croissant. And that's my podcast. This is, I would say, a little bit offbeat because I've never invited any professional to my podcast and talk about the journey, since you have traveled millions of countries to be here in Chicago, as you shared your journey with us in our class. And can you tell a little bit about yourself? And how did you pave your way to be what you are today?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. There's a lot to cover here. So I grew up in France, originally from France, lived until the age of 24 in France, and started working for the Chicago Marathon in 1999, way back. I don't know that you were born yet.
I was in 2001.
2001, so a couple years before you were born. Came to this country here where we're at in Chicago, and interned with the Chicago Marathon, loved it. Long story short, kept coming back to work on the event, volunteering, interning, and many years later the event sponsored me to work on the event and do that full time here in the city of Chicago. That was almost 20 years ago.
Like, how do you feel about it?
How do I feel?
Yeah, because you're back now here, helping them with volunteers, with students, and also giving students a platform to experience a world major marathon, one of them. How do you actually feel about that?
That's a great question. So it's a full circle moment, as we call them, right? So I started like you, wearing the uniform,
yes.
with your name tag and everything. To me, that was a dream. I really dreamed of coming to Chicago. The first time I was actually 10, and then I was 20 when I started interning. And then I came here full time, like I was 26, 27. So it was really a dream to be able to be part of the event, to see the energy of the event, interacting with runners from all over the world. A full circle moment, by that I mean that now it's really about your experience. So I'm seeing it through your eyes, which makes it even more fun to see. Of course, I enjoyed working the event. I worked for many years on the event, and then any position, you name it, I've done it. But seeing you guys experience it through your own eyes from people from all over the world, and as part of your class, you've got people from pretty much every country.
Every country.
And then you guys are here now experiencing it. So it's really fun for me to see that, my dream, as I was basically moving to the US at the beginning, right? Like, it was very hard to be sponsored and to get a job here. It's not like the marathon said, yes, we'll hire you right away. It took years for that.
It took you 6 years.
It's 6 years altogether, right?
Yes.
And then what I did through that process, through suffering, you would use that term, right? To the pain, I promised myself that if I were ever able to make it happen and live here in the US and work for the Chicago Marathon, that I would somehow, someday, give back and help other people live their dreams, whatever their dreams may be. Mine was to move to the US, work for the marathon. But that's why I started the Seagull Institute. That's why you're here, right? That's
yes.
Because I had this vision of saying, after it was 7 years in North America by that time, I met with the founder of your school, Patrick Toiti, who came here with a group of students. He enjoyed what I presented. He was at the marathon office, brought the group, and after that he said, what do you want to do next year? I want you to be more involved. And I said, yes, I'd love to. I've always wanted to teach. And that's changed the trajectory of my life. The following year I taught, and then he put me basically in charge of the program, and then I dropped my dream job to start Seagull Institute, to be able to offer with my heart really the concept of bringing you guys to discover what I had the opportunity to discover, because I have received so much from different mentors that you're meeting through this experience. And now I'm like, this is my opportunity to give back to my mentors, but paying forward, not giving back to them, but paying it forward to you and to the next generation of students by helping you guys experience what I experienced, learning what I learned. So that's a full circle moment again, but very exciting to be part of this and having you be part of this. This is cool.
I would say that this is my first learning a lot about marathons. If I would say that thank you so much for actually giving us this platform, where even though we are working as a volunteer, but I think volunteers are playing a huge role here. It's not only us, 50 of us, it's, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, I don't know how many volunteers are here. And it's like of every age. That was more surprising to us, I think, especially to me. Like, I think in the morning when we were having breakfast, when we were checking in with our volunteering t-shirts and etc., I saw one uncle, I think, aged person. He would be what, nearly 80s or 90s, just my assume. I'll show you the video. He was dancing and he was energizing people, and I think somehow he did help. And yesterday I came across one participant. She was from Taiwan, and she just gave birth 2 months ago. She's not even fully recovered, and she came here to run again.
Woo.
And that's that to 26.2 miles, and that's incredible. I think there are so many different inspiring stories that, you know, a little bit chit chat will also help to know that what their background is, why are they doing this. I think that's something that I personally like, and that's why I started my journey as a podcaster. And when I first met you, you know, when you first see someone on Zoom call, it's something, a different ideology, I would say. But when I first met you, I always inspired your story. I think you have worked so much hard for everyone. Now also you're working hard for us to get that kind of platform experience, and then you're always on top, like, you know, come to me, I will help you, I'll get you this contact, I will get you this. Like one of my classmates, Joaquin, he told you to get into Chicago Bulls, and you are doing your 100% for him to get in, get that one interview with that one person. That's life-changing experience. I think not a lot of people I have come across have done this. So thank you so much for doing that. So how did you come up with the idea of actually making Seagull?
It's about, through the marathon, I welcome groups of students, right? Part of my role was volunteer management, community relations, and so I was presenting to different universities. And one time, your school basically came to our office at the Chicago Marathon office, and I presented. And that's where the founder of AMOS talked to me, and that's where I was referring to that earlier when he said, what do you want to do next year? Do you want to get more involved? And that's why I said I wanted to teach, and that's really what triggered everything. So basically, Patrick and your school became our first client. So you guys are legacy client that we've had for over 15 years. So Seagull did not exist. I was still full-time with the Chicago Marathon. I was actually getting married with my wife that year, well, actually a month later. So we were celebrating the going away dinner, if I always remember, and we had this party with the students, and then I'm like, I need to go to France. We have a pretty big event to organize, which was a big wedding, not as big of an Indian wedding, right? We had 130 guests.
Well, now Indian weddings have
lower, so maybe we meet up. But so that's basically what happened, and that's no business plan. Really, like a call in my heart to start it. I was saying this is going to be my first client. And then what I really wanted to do is reach out to other schools to offer the same opportunities. And I would not have known that we were talking about people like yourself from another country. The original intent was bring French people to the US. There's so much to learn. And now we have people from all over the world being part of this, which is even more fulfilling to me. The reason being, right, my father was a flight attendant, so he traveled all over the world.
Yes.
I did not, but I'm very happy to bring his legacy into this and being able to have more impact all across the world, and not just France. I've had to expand my vision to have more impact all across the world.
I think that's a very inspiring story. I think because for 15 years you have seen so many people like students like us, like students like me, I would say. But what was the life-changing, impact you saw that you were, like, how artists, they see audience clapping for them and they're like, okay, I think I've made it. Did you have moments like that?
Where I think I've made it?
Yes.
Oh man,
you can say
question.
that maybe not, or maybe you are, trying to aim for it.
That's a good question. I think part of my personality is like I'm never satisfied with what's going on.
I can relate to that.
I want more. I want things better. I want things bigger. I think today is part of it. Seeing you guys in action and being able to take a tour. Max being there for me, is running the show. Seeing a former student who's actually filming right now, but a former student being able to take charge, right? Like this, the next step. Like you are today, like you are part of the student body and the group and the cohort. Max was like you, and now 3 years later, who would have known he would step into an internship role, and then he became a full-time staff. So seeing that and being able to walk with him and look at you guys in action was really one of that moment where like shit, this is cool. This is really a great moment to see you guys in action. I think the most important in that is that for many years, especially at the beginning, it was lonely somewhat, right? Like I was on my own when I started Seagull. I didn't have a team per se. And being in front of my wall, I always remember my office was literally on a white wall and being like, I don't know, like the inspiration or like I couldn't bounce back ideas or it was all a dream, all something I had in mind, but now it's way more concrete. But it took 15 years to get to that level. But being able to see what you have in mind, that's the creator, like that's what you have as well, inside of you. That ability to create, to go from a blank page, a blank wall to whatever you want to create, and then that's the beauty of it. So
you're one of the creators who started from garage.
Yes, I guess, right.
And then becoming a billionaire. I hope you surely
Not there yet, but the most important to me is the fulfillment of being able to know that the work we do matters, and that's what makes sense to me, right? The financial part was never a part of this. It was really a mission-driven organization. I know we've got to be careful with our budgets and everything else, but seeing you guys grow and then your ability on your side to have that impact, that's the most important piece. That's the beautiful piece in that, because it's not about just one person doing it, it's now several people that may have an impact on the next generation. That's how you affect change, right? Things to change, you have to change. That's coming from someone right? But we all embody that message. For things to change, we have to change. But to help the world, we have to also help other people achieve their full potential. That's really what Seagull is all about. Soar to your highest potential. That's our title.
That's how the name also stands out for it, Seagull.
Indeed, right?
People, they always look for things, like they want to change the things rather than just admitting that okay, things will be how it is. You just have to adjust with the surroundings, with time, with everything. I think that is what I'm learning from you and with all my fellow members in my class, that there are so many incredible stories. I would honestly say not because of the podcast, because this is not scripted. This is whatever question is coming in my head, I'm just asking you like a follow-up question like that. But I feel that I have worked, even though I'm just 24, I know I have a lot to learn in coming years. But till the age of 24, what I've learned, I think people like you, Jonathan, are very less to find. Like, where you can find stories, you can also find a platform where you can explore yourself, and also you can also, like, I can lean onto you on something if I have to find a person to connect with in the industry, especially in the sports industry or something. I think you are one of them, and I've met 0 people like this, and you're the first that I've met.
I hope you meet other people like this, but more importantly, I hope you are that person, right? Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, I'm trying
be
to
that person, because you don't have to wait until you're old to give back or to share your story, because you have an amazing story. You got out of your comfort zone. You did amazing things that most people will be very inspired by, and you may forget about that. Sometimes we don't see these things in us, right? But there are kids out there that you don't have to wait for to talk to that would be inspired to hear your message and your story. They may be 12, 13, 14, who knows, maybe 20, just a few years younger than you are. Hopefully. But what you see in others, that's something you have in you. As I've been told that many times. When you see something in someone else, that's because you have it.
Yeah, even I believe, like, the personality that we want, we are changing in ourselves, or we present, or the person that we are wanting to be or aiming to be. We exactly attract those kind of people around us in our neighborhood. Also, if you notice that the likes and the dislikes that we have, like if I like tortilla, you will find people who likes tortilla. You will not find people who doesn't like that. I think that kind of small differences, you can see that I think I'm changing. I'm attracting exactly the person that I want to be, with the same mindset people around me, which helps as well. And thank you. I just try to learn from different background, different people. because I was one told that, you think that your problem is too big, you should always see what other people goes through. So I just try to, just understand, if not in depth, just a little bit, the tip of the iceberg also tells you a lot of stories. So that's what I try to learn. I try to listen to people, and
that would be my best advice. I was doing the podcast right before. He was asking me what's your advice to someone your age, right? 24, 25 years old. That would be my recommendation, but that's what you're already doing. Meeting with people who've taken a path that you're interested in. Maybe they're taking a direction or have achieved something you want to achieve. There's nothing better in terms of modeling than seeing what someone has done, understanding their story, and as you said, the tip of the iceberg, right, or deeper too, and trying to understand really what drove them, the motivation, their why. Like my favorite quote,
but you directly go to how.
Yeah, right. And you learn from them in the shortcut. But my favorite quote is, when you have a strong enough why, you can carry almost any how. Exactly. Understanding people's why, more importantly, reflecting back and then figuring out what's my why, what makes me want to wake up in the morning, what makes me vibrate and be excited about life or work. And that's really something you discover as well by talking with people.
Exactly.
It helps you reflect back on that. So that would be my tip. Congratulations on what you're doing. We're very inspired by the work you do, and very humble and very grateful that you're part of our group and team and cohort. You're an amazing, outstanding student. So excited that
my mom was asking this. Didn't anybody tell you that you are doing great in your course? Maybe not.
I just did. Send her the recording.
I definitely will. But I wanted to say that what would be your word of wisdom that you try to follow or you try to enact in other people?
Word of wisdom. I'll just share my favorite quote, so I'm going to have to be more creative here.
Maybe you can say that again.
I think it's, one of my favorite things too is, I talk about lead by example. I have got so many. But lead by example is something I care about, and it's a hard one to live by, right?
Exactly.
What you teach, what you share is something, but people don't see or necessarily listen to what you say, but they look at what you do, and I think that's also something that's called integrity between what you say and what you do, that your actions are aligned. That's a great challenge for me, right? Like you were talking about like running. I say to people, I run every day. I had a few days of break last week, and then I don't like to say that I usually run every single day, but I have exceptions now. I'm not as brutal in terms of my rigor, but being able to say, you know what, if I'm going to teach or share something, it comes from something I've experienced, and I think that's the power of sharing stories, because you can share something that actually you didn't read it in a book. You're really sharing something you have first-hand experience, which means really something. So I think if people were to share more about their stories, being aligned with, between what they say and what they do, that would be a huge impact. So as a teacher, as a leader, that's one of my recommendations to people, is like, be aligned between what you say and what you do. Don't teach something if you don't do it. I talk like sports to me is important, but I do practice sports, right? It's not just something I talk about. So things of that nature. So that would be my lead by example would be my favorite.
Thank you. I am trying to. Hopefully, I did something till the age of 24 something. But I will, the thing that I wanted to say, when you said that every speaker is different, everybody is different, I think that more than half of the people or the population, they don't understand. They're like, oh, they were talking about the same thing, but they don't see the beauty or the way they are aligning the stories is very different. Like, take an example, there are so many singers in the world. They also sing the same genre music as well. Like, for example, rappers, for example, normal high note vocalists and everything. They're all the same. But what makes them different is the way they sing, the way they present, the way they, the way they attract people. There's always something or the other that is different in everybody. So that's why this podcast. Just want to align every different other story, which is beautifully, paved in a way.
Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Thank you so
Very
much,
honored.
and I'm not gonna take more of your time. I know there is a lot of story that I can ask from you,
Yes.
and you can keep on going. But yes, we have a marathon to cover. There are a lot of people coming in. I have to go help as well, and I'm sure you also have a lot of networking to do for us and for yourself as well.
Indeed.
But thank you so much, Jonathan, for your insightful information, and I'm sure a lot of people will see this and will be willing to be a part of Seagull Institute or come to Chicago and be a part of your journey.
Fantastic. Join us.
Yes, join Seagull. They are great, I will say.
Thank you
But
so
thank you so much for,
Thank you
for
very
your
much,
time.
Amrita.
Thank you so much for
Appreciate it.
having me as well.